Now, gone are the days when fatherhood was limited to breadwinning and discipline. Today's generation of fathers are rewriting the script, choosing emotional presence over absence, connection over control, and healing over inherited harm. Joining us for this powerful conversation is Sthembiso Phakathi, founder of the Single Dads Network. Sthembiso, very good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Happy Father's Day. I mean, it's a fantastic initiative. Talk to us about how it came about, how you thought of this idea to form a Single Dads Network.
Thank you for the question. Yes, as a single dad myself, having raised 4 kids, and I was inspired by what I saw within the community, my family, and then my friends. So I began to ask myself, we talk a lot about mothers and kids, and the question was, who's supporting the fathers, and also especially the fathers that do not live with their kids, or fathers that do not that are not primary caregivers. Then I began to launch the network back in October 2023. So we are all about creating bridges between fathers and their kids and making sure that they're not just providers, but they are actually available and involved in their kids' lives and upbringing, but also that emotional connection is there.
In creating those bridges, what are the biggest challenges that you've encountered in your interaction with fathers who perhaps may want access to their children but cannot get it, or who have access but can't leverage on it?
I think it comes down to the way we're brought up as sons ourselves, because we are first sons and before we are fathers. I think it's societal notion that a good dad just becomes a provider as long as the kids don't lack, especially financially, and then we felt that is enough. So we're basically rewriting a narrative around what fatherhood and parenting is all about. We are challenging ourselves in the network and those around us that emotional connection and being present is everything. So provision by itself is not enough. So to us, emotional connection, being also understanding the needs of our kids is quite important. So modern parenting is that emotional participation in the child's upbringing, and we are trying to also break stereotypes that dads, especially single dads, they can even parent from a distance as long as they pump the money and then they send gifts, and then we're trying to change that, and then slowly, and we can see the impact.
And where does that come from? I mean, the provider aspect of fatherhood, and thinking that sending money through, the kids are in school, the kids have clothes, but the father is essentially absent.
Yeah, in the Single Dads Network, we even have a program for the boy child, because we always say that it's hard to assist a broken man than to actually groom a child or a boy. So we find that especially most boys during the teenage level are looking for identity, and they want to check, because they know that dads are not just disciplinarians, but also they provide values as well as that connection with the father. So we try to groom young people to understand that both parents are important in their lives, and then they play different roles. There's a lot of work, though, just to break those societal stereotypes in the communities about fatherhood. But since we launched, and we're seeing more fathers coming out, sharing their stories, being vulnerable, because the healing itself also, because we've got our own childhood traumas as well. Yeah. So healing, making sure that we create safe spaces for fathers to connect, come out, and create that conversation. That is paramount. And then we are seeing so much change in the system and in the community. in the community as well.
And that, of course, is quite significant, especially as, Sthembiso, we observe Men's Mental Health Awareness Month this month, really just reflecting on those issues and how men can come together to talk about their issues, especially if we link it and look at the correlation of, men caging up and the suicide rates, finding that, of course, those numbers speak to the importance of talking and really connecting with others to essentially, build up on getting assistance, professional help.
Absolutely, good point. Most men are not, we are not taught to open up and to feel or even to express emotion. So not long ago, I shared a shocking statistic that just in June globally, 263,000 men had already committed suicide. That is just half into the year. You can just imagine what that number would look like by the end of the year. So most men, and as you said, also suicide and heart attacks are more prevalent in men and boys. So we are saying that we are creating spaces where men can have discussions and conversations about what hurts them, what they're going through, and to create those support groups. But I think also families must come out, not just on a Father's Day like this, must come out and be available for men and boys and ask the questions, are you okay? Are you really okay? What are you working with? What are you grappling with? I don't think most men are receiving support from their families and friends. And most programs that I see in society is about women and children. And by the way, when we talk children, we're talking only a girl child, not a boy child.
Yeah, very well.
And I think the primary support needs to come from communities, not just from networks like ours.
Very well. Thank you so much for speaking to us this evening. Sthembiso Phakathi, founder of the Single Dads Network, speaking to some of the really important pointers as we look to mental awareness, mental health, especially in this month of June when it comes to men.